Today, we are going to be speaking about our cosmetology and esthetician program. And I have to say that one of the reasons we wanted to ask the leadership of these two fabulous programs to speak is because we are known for our CTE, Career Technical Education programs at Santa Barbara City College alongside our academic programs. But more and more, the focus for community college has been on that critical role they play in the community with workforce training programs and retraining programs and skill building. And of course, teaching those skills that ultimately are immediately employable in our community. And I can think of nothing better than the cosmetology programs here because they have this long track record, decades long, in fact, of doing that incredibly well. And I'll let them brag about the stats. I'm a big nerd for statistics, but I'm gonna let them tell you about those. So let me tell you who's gonna be speaking today. First, we're gonna hear from Michelle Puailoa. And Michelle is the chair, actually, of our Cosmetology Academy. She has done this for many years. It was with Michelle, actually, and her team that we worked when we purchased that beautiful building downtown, which now houses the program. And so we felt that that was a wonderful place for it to be. And I think we're going to hear about what effect that may have had on it. So she was invited to become an adjunct instructor back in 2013. She'd actually joined the program back in 2011 for the first time. But quickly, it was clear she was a leader. She is a longtime Santa Barbarian, which is the term we all fondly refer to ourselves as. And she'll tell you a lot about her own work and her colleagues and the program. We'll also hear from two students in the program today, Andrea Garcia and Jessica Hernandez, who will give a perspective of what it's like to be part of this program. We will then move on to the esthetician program, and Jamie Muse Toste, who will be presenting, is our lead instructor there. She has much to share about that program, which, although not always named independently, it is a program unto itself, married there to the Cosmetology Academy as well. And then Victoria Stua will also be speaking to us about what it is. Actually, I just made that up. She's not going to be speaking. She's just running the show behind the scenes, but she's going to be bragged about. So we're just going to brag about Victoria today. So it's going to be a wonderful conversation. And with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our lead speakers, starting with Michelle Puailoa.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is pretty exciting to represent the Cosmetology Academy. And I just wanted to start off by saying Jeff called me and asked if I would do it. And I said, absolutely. And I've seen several of the other COVID conversations and they've been fabulous. So I hope we can continue to educate those that are so interested in Santa Barbara City College. So welcome to my students. I commend you for being here. You've been on the computer with us for 8 hours already today. So I'm going to go ahead and get my screen share up and start my presentation. Okay, so a thumbs up if you guys can see this. Yes? Okay, good. I'm going to treat you like my classroom. Okay, so Cosmetology Academy at Santa Barbara City College. A little history about myself. I was a student there and I went in 1988. It was a 2-year program at the time, and it was a privately owned beauty school, but it was contracted to Santa Barbara City College. So I was able to get my units and be a student and an alum of Santa Barbara City College. So let's see here. Come on, computer. Whoops. Got fast fingers all of a sudden. Sorry, guys. Okay. Wow, that really took us down a road. Okay, so the history of our program, Dr. Jack Friedlander. He, as most of you probably know him, if you don't, wonderful man, had a great passion for the Cosmetology Academy. I believe, I didn't really check my facts completely, but as I know it, Jack was one of the pivotal people that were involved in actually acquiring the college. And so the Cosmetology College. So in the mid-90s, they started at the Hollister location. And I've spoke to him many times about it. He has fond memories. And he was so excited that we were able to move into a new building. The building we were in was a little bit tired. And it was time for us to move, along with the fact that the Magnolia Center had increased our rent. So we were kind of orphans there. And thank you to the foundation, because they came in and they have provided us with this outstanding, beautiful school. So let me just play this for you. Whoops, sorry. You know, it's just music in the background, so there's not really any talking. I didn't share the sound with you. So that kind of says it all in a nutshell. We had a lot of fun. Melissa Moreno, Dr. Melissa, VP of the School of Extended Learning, sadly moving on in a couple weeks here. We're going to miss you, Melissa. And Jeff Green and myself, we were we became fast friends when the construction started. And what a great set of people to work with. It was just a wonderful honor to be able to participate in that whole experience. So as you can see, it's a beautiful campus in a most beautiful place. Whoop. And let's move on. All right, so why are we there? Why do you have to come to school? Well, we have the California Board of Barbering and Cosmetology. The state requires 1,600 clocked hours, for which then that means we get to be with our students 5 days a week, 40 hours a week. So students show up at 8 in the morning and they go home at 4:30. The state requires, while they're at school with us, 350 hours of lecture. So we lecture on laws and regulations, disinfection, sanitation, anatomy, physiology, wet hair styling, hair cutting, permanent waves, chemical straightening, hair coloring, bleaching, hair removal, makeup, manicures, pedicures, and artificial nails. So we have a lot to talk about. People are usually surprised when they say, what do you teach? And then I say, cosmetology. Oh, that must be easy, but not really. It's always a big surprise. So we like to make it very clear to our incoming students, this is what they have to look forward to. All right, they also require that we do hands-on practical. So with that, they're asking us to do 240 wet sets and 80 haircuts, 105 perms and chemical straightening, 50 hair coloring and bleachings, 40 facials, and 120 artificial nails. So when we're not taking notes and lecturing, we're doing this. We also like to have fun in our school. So here's a group of our students. We require them to wear uniforms. That is one of the challenges that we don't have with COVID. So us teachers got a little break from that. But we love our students, and we really believe in trying to keep them as professional looking as possible, because we're representing Santa Barbara City College and they are preparing to go out and have a very successful professional career. So this is part of the inside of our building. We also work on clients. So students, once they get a certain amount of hours, then they have appointments. And we also have just pictures of the students working on the days that they're on the floor. So when I say on the floor, that's the lab. and they are working on clients. They're in class 2 full days with their instructor, and then 3 days on the floor with their instructor and other instructors. So we also get creative. Okay, so there's a really cool class project that Sarah Jackson puts on in Module 4. This lady right here, this doll head, is what these models look like before this project got started. So here's some of the talented work from our students. So she has the students actually transform this face into what you're seeing. So fun way to get some makeup experience, because makeup's not always just about eyeshadow and mascara. We also have a large book of community events that we attend. And Awanda Johnson, our admin and admissions lady, she is very involved with our community, and she's very gracious. She takes care of all of this. She organizes the students. She orders all the supplies that we need. And the students also get an opportunity to gain extra hours because most of the community events are during off school time. So frequently it's the weekend. Some of them, we go to City College quite often. This was for a Halloween event last October. And the students go and they do free makeup for the City College students on Halloween. That's a fun event. We did it in the bookstore this year. We have done plays, theater. This, I believe, was Kate's school, and it was a Dr. Seuss play. Is that correct? Thumbs up, Jamie? Was it Kate? I believe so. And then we also do the runway show, sponsored by Sephora at Paseo Nuevo. So we've done these kind of things. Oh, great, my battery's running low. Hang on. Real life. There we go. Okay. So these are some of our community events. We do many more. One of my favorites that I just love to hear about, unfortunately, I usually don't get a chance to go to them, but one of my favorites is at, where is it at? Valley Verde Rest Home, and they have a senior prom, which is great. It's so fun. So then we get to celebrate 1,600 hours. The program takes roughly a year to get through. So when we celebrate, we like to have all of our family and friends. We sign up to have the BC Forum on main campus. The students put on a fashion show, and then they also do a medley of their time that they were with us for the year. So it's really fun. And then we hand out little certificates, and these are some of them. This was in our old building, so you can see the contrast, with the color and so forth. But we take great pride in doing this for our students because they work so hard. Well, and then of course you can move on and get your Associates of Science in Cosmetology. So the units that they gain with us are transferable, and they move right into their general ed requirements and graduate with their Associates of Science in Cosmetology. And how have we transitioned? Well, the question there, that's a big one, and I thought about that. For those of you students that have been with us only online, I hope this inspires you to hang in there with us and know that we will get back to that. It'll be with different parameters, but anyhow, some of our students have not had this opportunity to actually be in the building. Anyway, with all of that said, the way we've transitioned, we jumped on it right away. Thank you to the FRC, Rob, and everybody else in the FRC. You guys were amazing. We typically, cosmetologists are more artists, so we don't do a lot of critical thinking type of activities, but we pulled it together, and I think we all surprised ourselves with a lot of patience. I am so grateful for my team, and I tell them that all the time. I wouldn't be able to be here if it wasn't for them. So it's now the way we do it, we create videos on YouTube. We gather all the students together with videos, and then we go into breakout rooms, and each teacher has a select group of students in their breakout room. They get their doll heads out, they pull the video up, they have the teacher there watching them, and they perform whatever the video was about. And then we all go back to the main room. So each session is 2 hours. So they're doing 4 full sessions at 2 hours each, 5 days a week. No, excuse me, 3 days a week. And then 2 days a week, they're in class all day with their, I call it their homeroom teacher. So anyways, that's kind of how we transitioned, and the students are remarkable. We just keep encouraging them and want to be there for them. A lot of our time online, I think, has really been about mentoring them through this tough time and helping them to have hope that, yes, they will get to do hair on real people at some time in their career. So I think with that said, I really don't talk about. So again, thanks, Jeff, for inviting me.
Thank you, Michelle. We will have plenty more to talk about when we get to the Q&A portion here. So we appreciate it. And now I want to give her a fair share. I didn't do this at the front end. So you're about to hear from Jamie Muse Toste. She is the lead instructor for Aesthetics program here, alongside her co-instructor, Victoria, who will be driving the presentation. But a few things about Jamie. So her interest in this field, she has grew out of about 20 years of living really all over the world: Manila, Tokyo, London, New York. She was on a different track in her life, and I don't know if she wants to talk about this, but she has her bachelor's degree in anthropology from Stanford. She's actually eyeing a master's degree in psychology right now. But here she is as our lead instructor, and we're going to hand it over to her to tell her a bit more about the aesthetics program. Jamie. And Jamie, you are muted still. Let's unmute Jamie.
There we go. Michelle, is that okay with you if we jump to me and then our students, or okay? All right, then let's see if we
So
can.
Debbie, I don't know if you were actually ready. We have our 2 cosmetology students standing by, and they were going to talk about the cosmetology program from a student viewpoint. Jeff, would that be okay if we kind of segued into that and then went into esthetician?
If you would like to, sure. I was going to wrap it all into the second half, but as you wish. This is your show. Absolutely, Michelle.
Okay. Sorry. All right. So with that said, we have Jessica Hernandez and we have Andrea Medina Garcia. So you guys going to talk to us about how has it been as you've transitioned from being at school to online.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for highlighting such an amazing program and instructors. I can't say enough about them. So I just want to say that real quick. I don't know if Andrea wants to jump in. Oh, she might be muted. Is Andrea muted?
Let's see.
There you go. No, yeah, thank you so much as well for, I think the program is amazing. The teachers, the staff, everybody. But yeah, that's the general. If you want to talk, Jessica, and then I'll speak after. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think Sarah J, we call her Sarah J, Sarah Jackson, she's one of the instructors. She's like, I mean, I can't say enough about the instructors right now, really. During this whole entire transition, you know, I feel like that's, you hear COVID-19 and then you hear transition, and that's exactly what this has been for so many of us. But they have just been so incredibly supportive and encouraging. And, you know, the program moved to an online format, and I was so grateful, because had it not, I probably wouldn't have been able to continue the program. I would have had to, you know, push the pause button. And I was really, you know, at a great pace, going to school every day. The demographic that I represent is I'm an older student. I'm a mom. I'm in my 40s. I've got 4 kids. So, you know, going to school at the building was just so much fun. It was a little break for me. So I was a little hesitant at signing on. I honestly didn't know how it was going to roll out online, if it was going to work, how that was going to look. But you know, with all the support and encouragement from the instructors, I really felt like, okay, this is something that I'm going to try to accomplish. I'm going to try to do this, but also still kind of wearing all the other hats, because now I have all my kids home at school too. So we were all for a time just online in front of, I mean, we had to go get all these Chromebooks. So I was super grateful for the schools because they were able to hand out Chromebooks for use. And we would just plug away.
My turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like Jessica said, the transition couldn't have been, could have been hard, of course, just like anything else right now going with COVID. But the teachers have made, at least in my perspective, in my situation, extremely smooth. And I'm very grateful for that, because it could have gone really downhill, I guess, just like with anything else going on right now. But they made it really smooth with the education, with all the hands-on stuff, the videos, even like I think with stuff that when we were in class in the building, stuff that we've been doing now could be super useful as well when we get back. So like all the videos, we can look back and see all the stuff that we learned and all the small little details that we could forget, and maybe like try on friends and family at home. I think stuff like that is going to be super helpful. But yeah, the transition in my situation has been extremely smooth. The education is, I think, I don't know, I think it's kind of the same. I think it hasn't changed. I think it's been pretty equal in the way that we've been learning. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. I think there's so much positivity in the school and all the teachers that they've been giving us. So yeah, so for smooth is the key word I think that I can say.
Yeah, smooth. And definitely I know a lot of like work went on behind the scenes to get us fully prepared, because in the beginning of this, nobody knew how long this was going to last. Like we didn't know how temporary this was going to be. And so it wasn't like I never felt like, okay, we're just going to try to make things work. It was no, we're going to get you everything you need so you can succeed. Like we're not going to just, you know, make stuff up along the way. Like there was so much preparation involved, and the class formats it's a routine. It's a very consistent routine. And I think that a lot of students who maybe were challenged in school environment where it's a lot more social, maybe, you know, they are able to actually get more work done, you know, and so that's been great. And I want to say like the caliber of what they're teaching us, they're really looking outside the box. So it's not the same perm over and over again and the same haircut, you know? So yeah, just hats off to the staff, really.
You guys are amazing. We'll give you the money after the talk.
$5 in a Coke.
$5 in a Coke. Well, thanks for sharing, you guys, and thanks for being here again.
Of course, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Andrea and Jessica. And we're going to have some more questions for you after this too. So stick with us if you would. Thank you. All right, Jamie, I'm going to pass it off to you now.
Yay, my turn.
You want me to bring up the slide?
Yes, please.
There we go.
I'll get the slide up. I just wanted to personally thank Melissa for her vision and support, her amazing presence. I've respected her since the day I met her, and I just wish her the best of luck. You're someone that I emulate in my career alongside of Michelle, so I just wanted to say thank you while I had the chance. My name's Jamie, and I'm here to share with you a little bit about our esthetician program. What I hope your takeaway will be today is a greater understanding of what we do as esthetician instructors. And I think the main thing that we try to do, and Michelle touched upon this, is that we try to walk alongside our students for however long we have. For estheticians, it's a 600-hour program, cosmetology, 1,600 hours. Okay, next slide, please. So we're not a typical class where the instructor will enter the room, give a lecture, post an assignment, and maybe speak to a student once or twice in a semester. Like Michelle said, we are a 40-hour-a-week program. Used to be face-to-face for 40 hours a week. Now we're hybrid, all exclusively online until this point. Hopefully in the fall, we'll be a hybrid program. So it's a lot of time to spend together. And so a lot of what you see and what you will hear from the students going on, their experience is that, yes, we do teach them the skills they need to receive their license, but there's also a lot more going on that's being taught and cultivated as far as a life skills aspect. Our aesthetics program is very academic in nature. Students who have taken classes in our nursing, that used to be perhaps in the nursing program or taken classes at a university, consistently comment on how they really have to study in order to retain the quantity of knowledge that is necessary, not just to pass this course and become licensed, but also to put themselves out there in a workplace as being the best informed and best trained candidate. And I think that at SPCC, at the Cosmetology Academy, we really pride ourselves on over preparing our students so that they really are the best that they can be and very confident when they leave our school, no matter if they go into the field of aesthetics or they decide on going to another field. We hope that that confidence that we build in them carries with them for a long time to come. Next slide. So now I get to brag on my other instructor, Victoria. Victoria has been involved in this industry for over 6 years. And what I admire most about her is, we'll back up, one of Michelle's gifts as head of the school is her ability to give a task and let people run with it. And I have to tell you that bringing Victoria on board has been a time where we can have just been able to really begin to kind of take off and see where we can bring the aesthetics program. Victoria's background is in makeup. Quite a few of our students come in either with a background in makeup as well or a desire to become a makeup artist. As a makeup artist herself, Victoria is actually an Instagram influencer for a couple of brands. And I know her goal is to someday have her own line of cosmetics that reaches the entire spectrum of color any person could possibly have. Undertone, no undertone and no shade left behind. I know that she's very big on that, and I love that about her. And she passes that passion on to all of our students, that spirit of inclusivity. So that is our Victoria. For me, you heard a little bit about me. I like to say that I spent the first half of my adult life restoring objects, and the second half will be restoring people. So it's kind of, I worked in museums and on private collections before switching gears, and I just absolutely fell in love with the educational component that comes along with being in this field. The field of aesthetics is constantly changing, technology is constantly changing. And so it requires that we ourselves are continuously putting ourselves in the role of student, even as we're teaching, learning from one another. And that's one of the things I love most about being able to be an instructor at the Cosmetology Academy. Next slide. So we consistently have classes that are at a maximum capacity. Some students wait for at least 6 months to join our program. We have 2 programs a year. Even this year, in spite of COVID, the last time that I checked with our administrator, we have about 87 students waiting for our orientation and to hear if they are going to be one of the students that is able to join us in the fall. So it's a really exciting program. I feel like the reason why our program appeals to so many people is that First, they have 12 months to devote to cosmetology, and our program is 4 to 6 months in length. So we're able to help people that are working full-time. They're having to sacrifice time away from family. They're having to either give up work or switch their work to working part, you know, in the evenings and on the weekends in order to make ends meet. So we've had students that you can see that at the bottom two, my bullet points. We have students who own skincare refrigerators because they just have so much time on their hands and finances on their hands. And then we have students who are struggling to keep the refrigerator and electricity running from month to month. So it's a wide range of diverse. It's amazing how many students every time will share how helpful it is to learn about the resources and the people and the community that are surrounding them, not just the instructors in front of them, but that there are other resources on campus designed to help them figure out whatever path that they are on, whatever path they'd like to be on, what those options are, optionality. And so that is one of the first things that we do is let our students know that there are other people that are there for them. And we bring together so many people from so many different backgrounds. We have a couple of videos here that we're going to just play for you from former students and let you hear a little bit about their experiences.
Let me know. Hopefully you can hear.
Hi, my name is Alison, and I graduated from the esthetician program in July of 2018. My favorite thing about the program is lifelong friends that I got to make. But I want to say thank you to Michelle, Jamie, and Sion. You guys were all extremely supportive and informative. I really had fun with all the guest speakers and demos we got to watch and participate in. And I really appreciate how similar of an environment they created in the lab to what we would experience in the real world. I also think that they over-prepared us for State Board. As nerve-wracking as the exam is itself, I still felt very, very confident in the written and practical. So I've been licensed since August 2018, and I started working at a local spa here in Santa Barbara shortly after that called Peaches Skincare. I was there for a little under a year. It was a very fun and educational first experience, but I always knew in my heart that I wanted to do my own thing. So I left to pursue my own business, and now I rent a studio in Goleta, and my little spot is called Wild Lavender. I do lash extensions, keratin lash treatments, and brow shaping, and I am slowly starting to incorporate facials as well. So I hope you guys truly enjoy the program as much as I did, and I wish you guys luck and just fun.
And then this is Miss Morgan. We're playing. Oh, wait. For some reason, this one doesn't want to play. Oh, technical difficulties. Loading, I guess. Sorry. Okay, we'll go on to Miss Sandra.
Hi, my name is Sandra. I am a former Santa Barbara City College esthetician student. I attended there and licensed back in January before this whole COVID. So let's see here. I was asked to make a short video to see what my biggest, takeaway was from the course. And I honestly have to say that my biggest takeaway from the course was the ability of just human touch. And I say this because I didn't really understand the meaning of that until after. And the meaning of it to me is the power that you have when you have your client in the bed and you are giving a facial or you are addressing their needs and you truly know what you're doing in the sense that you know your product knowledge, you take the time to address the issues that are their concerns, and that you take the time to either create a plan or you are truly, truly there with that positive energy, of doing the right thing. And once they open their eyes and they see that you did everything you possibly could, and seeing their face glow or seeing the treatment that was given to them and seeing that smile on their face is so, so rewarding. So if I were to say what my biggest takeaway from the course is that gift of not taking anything for granted. You're there to change someone's life, even if it's for the half hour that they're with you, 45 minutes or that hour. It is you. It's you who's doing the job, and it's a great feeling. So I love that. That is something that only I can do. And so, yeah, that's what I love. So good luck to all of you. Thanks. Bye.
Let's try one more time. Okay. Well, this is Mr. Stas.
Hey, I'm Mustapha. I am a hairdresser who specializes in men's grooming. And one of my big takeaways from the program was simply understanding skincare, understanding the importance of skincare. And especially as a dude, I had no idea when it came to this facet of the beauty industry. And it's been fun for me to see how I've incorporated my vision of my brand in regards to men's grooming. I want to be able to introduce guys to skincare, nail care, wardrobe, fashion. And the thing that excites me most about skincare is similar to haircutting. There's no one size fits all. It's all individually crafted to the individual. And so in skincare, being able to cocktail certain products together, select a service or a treatment in regards to your client's concerns, I think brings tremendous value to what we do.
Okay. Next slide. So online transition really quickly, because that's a part of what we were asked to speak about. I remember Michelle letting us know that we had about 10 days to make the transition. And immediately Victoria and I started scheming about how are we going to bring that to us. We already had our students using Canvas, Google Slides, or Keynote to make presentations online, either for a final presentation, their vision boards, discussion posts that we had. So most of our work was to get ourselves up and running with Zoom and figure out all the security protocols, meeting others. You can see Victoria in the picture here. He is teaching the other cosmetology instructors how to upload their demonstration videos to a YouTube channel so that their students can refer back to that, not just during the 40 hours a week class time, but outside of that, refer back to it and keep learning. So, and that's my baby boy, Jack. You can see him pushing around the doll heads, just part of working from home. He's doing his work. So that was definitely a challenge. I had my husband on Zoom business calls in one room. I had my daughter on her school Zoom meetings. Had my Jack pushing around my doll heads when I wasn't on them. So that was a lot of fun to learn how to experience transitioning to online. And then next slide. So our estheticians, you can see here, we've featured some of our estheticians, newly licensed. Obviously, the immediate goal at hand is to prepare our students for their license exam. We work really hard at the Cosmetology Academy to make sure that the money that they are investing is definitely well spent. We like to boast that the esthetician program has nearly 100% pass rate over the last several years. And it is well known. We've had evaluators at the California State Board Center comment to our students that they immediately know when a student is from Santa Barbara City College simply by the way that they present themselves, by how well prepared they are and collected and respectful of the process. And that is not by mistake. Victoria and I take very seriously, and you heard from one of the students that they feel like we over-prepare them. We do. Why? Because most of what the students will be fighting on the day of the exam is their own anxiety. To prepare them so that when they get there and there's chaos and it's not a controlled setting like what they have been practicing, they can take a deep breath and they can tell themselves they've got this. This is their license day. We don't tell this is your exam day. We teach them this is your license day. This is the day that you will get your license and never look back. So it's setting that mindset for them is really important. And then we teach them, we try to teach them, we teach you waxing, we teach you facials, we teach you and on that. Are you going to help raise each other up? How are you going to give back to the community? And are you going to continue to educate yourself? So that's really, those are some really important values we try to instill during our time walking alongside them. And here you can see, we're bragging on some of our performance. We like to say that we cast the vision and help connect opportunity. These are some of our boss babes that have gone on in the past 3 to 4 years and started up and continue to successfully run, because that's a big deal as well, is not only can you start a business, but is it sustainable? One of the things that we do that people don't realize is beyond the hands-on. We teach the science that goes into learning how to successfully accomplish these services, but we also have to dive into business, law, regulation, communication, all of these things that enable a person to be well-rounded and successful, even if they choose not to go into aesthetics. We're hoping to pass along these personal characteristics that are going to drive them to be a better member of society after they leave, and to know that they're not alone after they leave. We're here to walk alongside them. We're here to celebrate with them. So here's just a few of the businesses started by people that are former students. You can see Oxnard, Santa Barbara, San Ynez, Ventura. There are some business plans underway to open their own business in San Diego, Santa Monica, places. And then connecting opportunity. Michelle really sets the bar for going above and beyond. We all in the Cosmetology Academy put in way more hours than what we're paid for. And why do we do that? Because we love our students, want the best for our students, and we want the best for one another. And Michelle really sets that example and makes it really easy to follow, and then in turn to set that example for our students and for community. Encourage dialogue and discussions about values. We try to encourage thought process. When to concede? When do you make a small compromise? When do you, how are you being considerate? How are you being compassionate in everything you're doing? Again, working together, 40 hours, a lot of different personalities that you're going to have to learn to live with. And then how do you learn to live with clients that maybe are difficult, or other people that you would consider your neighbors? How do you get along whether you're at school or in the world? And then let me give you an example for this. one of the things that we teach when we're teaching facials is we ask our students, and they're analyzing their client's skin, to find something good to say. So you're putting your client under a 50-power magnifying lamp. So if you were to close your eyes and think for a moment, okay, now I'm under this bright lamp and there's just absolute silence. Where do you go? Most clients go, oh my gosh, she's looking at that wrinkle. I know she sees those wrinkles here. I know she sees the spots. I know that blemish is there. And they're thinking. So we teach that to our students that the first thing they need to do is consider, how would you feel if you were under that bright light, that spotlight? What would be running through your mind? How would you be filling the silence? And to begin with a compliment, establish trust with your client, set your client at ease. That's really good advice for anything we do in the world. Don't start from a point of judgment, silent judgment. Start from what can you find that is good, that you can compliment and bring the put the person at ease, and then have an honest dialogue with that person. Make a plan together and of what you would like to accomplish together. So plan and be purposeful, always lead with kindness. Those are two of the things that we like to talk about in the aesthetics program. And here you can see, really proud, this one on the right is a business plan that one of our gals that just graduated has. And I was just floored by just the intricacy and the thought process that went into this business plan. If she walked into a bank right now and asked for a loan, I mean, I'm absolutely certain that she is so over-prepared in the way that she presented it, and the confidence that really we saw growing in her by the time we got to the end of the semester, that she was able to stand there in front of us and present this, and the hours it took to study the laws and regulations and the tax laws. So we really do challenge our students to do things that they normally wouldn't have expected of themselves. And then our final slide. I wanted to end by sharing just a really short story. When I was a student, Michelle was my instructor, and she gave a speech that has since become the mantra of what I try to pass along to our students. And that is that Michelle said to us, she said that when someone comes in to see you, you never know if you are going to be the only loving touch that that person has had all day, all week, all month. They're trusting you to be the one to give them that loving touch. You never know what the reason is that someone comes in. And so for that hour that you have, and our students said that earlier, that 30 minutes, that hour, that 90 minutes that you have, that is a gift and a privilege that someone is trusting you to be able to love on them for that period of time. And that we should always take that so seriously and always consider that a gift and a privilege. Never take advantage of that or take that for granted. That's really stayed with me. That's something that I try to pass along to our students. And that really encapsulates what our school president said last week in his talk, when he said there are lots of things that others can do, but there are certain things only we can do. And with that, I just wanted to thank you for allowing me to share a little bit about our aesthetics program.
Thank you so much, Jamie. That's wonderful. I learned a ton right now, and I've been in that building more than a few times, but I just knowing the breadth of what happens there, I really appreciate all four of you sharing that. We have time for a few questions, and believe me, I have some. So let me start. I think my silent partner in crime here, Rachel Johnson, our director of grants, is driving our technology, and we're going to try to pin all five of us up here and have a little bit of a chat. But now, Michelle, I want to start with you. Jamie effectively bragged about the licensing rate for the aesthetics program. Now, I want to ask you to please brag similarly about the cosmetology program, because this is something I know I have heard a few different times before you and I actually spoke about it formally. But I think it's important for people to realize just how extraordinary that is.
So the state board ranks schools all across California. And what they do is they take the average of the quarterly exams the students take, and the exams are separate. You have to pass the 100-question written exam by 75%, and you have to pass the practical exam as well. So it's an all-day event. And so this last year, I looked at everything, and we come in somewhere around 88 to 95 depending on which quarter I was looking at. So I'm very excited for us to continue, and I think it's a great, just a great testimony to how hard our students work and how great the staff is at, you know, really supporting and teaching the students what they need to know to get their license.
Excellent. Thank you for that. We want to make sure we brag appropriately when it's well earned. So a couple of questions for both Jessica and Andrea. You each gave a little bit about your story and how you approach the program, but I'm curious if each of you could say a little bit more about why this particular program for each of you. You know, any one of us, you know, there's lots of different ways, different directions we could have chosen, but I'd love to hear what it is about the particular program and this whole field that drew you. And maybe Jessica, you could start.
There we go. Okay. Gosh. Okay. I'll try to be to the point because so cosmetology is something that I always had my eye on. But as I mentioned before, I have 4 children. And so when our family started, I very much wanted to just be a full-time mom. And I put all my energy into that, and I'm grateful for that forever. I wouldn't change that. But when my youngest started school full-time, I felt like it was kind of my time. It was my turn. And I had looked at other programs because I'm a local person. I don't live in Santa Barbara, but I'm not too far from Santa Barbara. So, you know, there is a program in Ventura. The appeal for me was Santa Barbara. It was closer, but it was also financially, it was a lot more doable. The other program is, I couldn't have afforded to do it. So, I mean, it really did come down to cost. But the industry itself and the career and that path, that was always something that was kind of tucked away. And I knew that it was something that I would do when the time presented itself. So that's how I came into the program.
Great. Thank you. Dre, how about you? What drew you into this?
For me, I think graduating high school, I was like, what am I going to do? Do I want to go to a 4-year college? Do I want to be sitting behind a desk? That was a quick answer. No, I do not want to be sitting behind a desk all day for 8 hours. I love communication. I love human touch. So for me, with that being said, hair and nails was always an interest. Obviously, as a little girl, you always hear little girls playing with their dolls and all of that. But for me, it was a little bit more time consuming, I guess, for me, as a high school student and growing up as an adult as well. But yeah, I think what drew me into this program and this school specifically was, one, it was so close to home. I'm local. I live downtown, so it was perfect. I wasn't very up to moving for school or anything. But also so many and awesome opportunities, like Jessica said, for financial help. For me, it was something that I was very, very happy about, that there was a lot of financial help. But also, I always heard from other peers, like work or other teachers in high school, that it was such a good program here at SBCC, and that they always heard good things about passing rates and all of that. So yeah, for me, that's what drew me into this program.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things all of you mentioned is this notion of, and I think I even said at the outset, the employment side of this, so that there are opportunities that with these skills that the students can go on and use in a number of different ways. Jamie mentioned a couple of different versions of that. I mean, that can be starting your own business. It can be being employed at a local salon or spa. Can you say maybe, Jamie and Michelle, a little bit more about what is the range of opportunity for a graduate of either or both of these programs? How many different paths are there? I'm sure most people could think of 1 or 2, but I wonder if there might not be others that we're not aware of, or the average person may not be aware of.
You can be in the editorial realm. So magazine shoots, we've got, you know, people that do shoots like this, stage work. You can be an educator and travel through all the huge shows that are national and international. You can be a consultant. You can be an educator. You can be a representative. So there's a huge realm. And we always encourage students, because sometimes they'll start school and they'll feel a little bit discouraged, like, I'm not as good as that student. But we're constantly reminding them that, you know what, something's going to pan out for you. I'm 100% always encouraging them, as the rest of our staff is, get your AA, get your AS, go back to school and get it. So that's sort of one of the things we always try to drive home as well, because unfortunately with cosmetology, you get your 1,600 hours, you got some units from CC, and you're off and running because you want to make money as best you can. So as some of my colleagues know, they had to suffer it out with me when I went back as an adult and got my degree. So I always encourage them to do that. It really broadens the spectrum. And Victoria or Jamie, did you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, so a couple of different people come to mind. The first is one of the students that came in. I remember that she absolutely fell in love with ingredients, the ingredients side, and decided to finish up at CC, and she wound up transferring to UCLA in their chemistry department to major in chemistry with a goal of joining R&D, research and development department, with one of the major skincare companies. So, and she said that she didn't even realize that was something she could do. We've had other students, another student that comes to mind, she got her esthetician's license because her end goal was actually to become, to get her bachelor's in psychology. And she had been accepted into CSU Long Beach, but she needed a way to fund herself through that. And she saw having her license in aesthetics as being one way for her to work and put herself through school. And so that was something else that she did. We have people, when we take our students to Carson, to the world headquarters for Dermalogica, major skincare company, and we tour them around that world headquarters. Education is a small component. Then they get to see that there's the business side, which is this massive rest of the campus. And if they like social media, they're savvy with that. They still need an esthetician's or a cosmetology license with that background to be able to be more effective in coming up with marketing structures, to come up with, again, with education plans for reaching out to what other students or clients. So there are so many different avenues that students can take besides the hands-on component.
Mm-hmm. And then something I also want to add on, a big thing that has become, I noticed a lot of our students also tend to go towards lately, is medical aesthetics. So they can work alongside with a dermatologist or in a medical spa if they get their RN and pursue their RN. We have had a few students who have gone through both the RN program and our program and used both of those together. Something that I originally planned to do, but then I kind of fell more in love with the aesthetic and beauty side of it. So my goal is to eventually, as Jamie said, have my own business. So right now I'm pursuing that. But I think having that background in aesthetics and really knowing the industry really helps our students who do want to go to the business side have just an upper hand and have that next step advantage in coming up with ideas and coming up and knowing what the clients are looking for. So yeah, that's what I have to add.
Right, thank you. And that's really helpful, because I don't think everyone thinks of that when they think of a cosmetology or aesthetics program. They don't realize how many paths that might lead to. So I think that's wonderful. The photo Jamie had of Jack with the doll heads just set me on a path. So bear with me now while I tell you where this question's coming from. So that, I had a flash in my mind of when we purchased that building, walking through it with Michelle and Melissa Moreno, and opening a closet which had a garbage can full of doll heads. And I won't describe my reaction, but I had a reaction. And so when I think about how you teach, And now that I understand it, I get it, the doll heads are critical. But what is it like, and this can be for the faculty or the students, what is it like to transfer that? I mean, you learn, like with any skill, you learn on a model, something once removed from the real thing, and then you apply it. How different is it? How far can you go with a model before you just have to really do it in real time to learn what it's really about? I'd be curious about what that is like for a student or for a teacher. And you can raise a hand if you want to answer that. I'd love to hear.
I will.
Okay.
Most of us that are just innately hairdressers, it could be the dog, it could be the cat, it could be anything with hair on it, or anything with skin on it. So I would say most of us transition into, we work with clients at the school as well. So it's about the skills when you're working on a doll head. We need to know how to direct and set our guides and our cuts and roll the perm rod. So our doll heads serve a great purpose that you don't normally get when you're working on a real client, because you're working on meeting their needs. And in order to meet their needs, you gotta have your skills up. So really the dolls are an integral part of being, part of our family at the Cosmetology Academy, as Jeff experienced.
Well, I did. Any other thought or reflections that you need?
Yeah, from a student perspective, it definitely boosts the confidence, because you can mess that haircut up and it's okay. You're learning, and ultimately the goal is to not mess up. So they are super critical.
And they're so forgiving, aren't they? They're just
Absolutely.
the best clients ever. They even let us draw on their faces and do whatever we want to them, and they never complain.
Yeah. Thank you. And that's obviously what happened here. Somebody really messed this up, and I just said, forget it. Never mind on the hair. So then let me on the same train. Bear with me here. So, and maybe this will be my last question for you, but I do want to give you all the last word. What is it when people think of what is easy to transition? People conceive of lecture halls. You can deliver that lecture online. There's a lot of things you can do relatively easily. When I think of what's really hard, I think of you all. I think one of the hardest things to suddenly convert to a remote environment, given, as you all said, this is so much about the in-person, the touch, the real-time connection. How do you do that? I mean, I know how you did it. You shared how you did it, but just any reflections on the challenges or difficulties of that? Or I'll give you one more opportunity here. What about things you learned in this that you might just continue to do because it works? Were there any surprises about what you could do in this sort of distance learning that actually didn't feel like they were a step back from what you were wanting to accomplish?
I can answer that. I like to encourage our students, because they don't understand that when they are at school, they are sort of left to their own devices. Because you have to remember, we have clients, we have students that are helping clients, we have students that are kind of doing their own thing. So I think it's been a wonderful benefit that we can actually be there. We're watching them on the computer. It's like they have a personal teacher, a personal tutor, because our groups that we monitor aren't that large, and we've got it all subdivided pretty equally. And that we're all practicing the same thing with the videos. So for me, I find that that's a huge, huge success. And I would love to keep the part of the lecturing and so forth definitely online in the future.
You got some compliments right here in the chat from Melissa Marino herself that, I'm just going to quote it. The team moved mountains in a very short period of time to bring the entire program online. So proud of this team. Sarah Jackson said the tutorial videos are wonderful. So clearly you've done it right and it's worked. But other reflections, Jamie or Victoria or Jessica?
I would just like to say that I'm so thankful to be able to work with a team that was so willing and just so ready to educate themselves and to find a way to know how we can really help our students. And our students are such a big part of our life, and we're so focused on them at all times. So it was really amazing to watch people who maybe barely know how to upload a video to their computer, let alone to YouTube, just really be ready to take notes and be the students for a week so we can make this happen. And I'm very, very thankful for that. I'm also very thankful to our students who are so willing to work with us and to be patient with us as we transition into this new crazy world of COVID and being online. But I'm very thankful that we have such amazing students who are so willing to continue to learn and to continue to work with us and continue to help us be even more creative. So
I would have to say too that this would not work if we have an extraordinarily cohesive work group. And it is phenomenal to me. And without that relationship that all of us have and the support to undergird each other during these frustrating times for some of us, and we're really like a family. So we always tell each other we love each other so much, and that is really amazing, I feel, because it's not really always the case when you have how many of us women together 40 hours a week. So that's my reflection.
Right. Well, it shows. I have to say, it really does show in everything you've shared with us here, and clearly in the comments of the folks that get to work with you all. So I do want to wrap this up, and I want to give you all the last word. I think I'm going to ask the instructors first and then the students to have the final say. But anything you want to share about what people should know or ways to contact you or other information, just in a few seconds of final parting thoughts. We'll start, Madam Chair, with you, Michelle.
So sbcc.edu/cosmetology has all of the information if you are considering coming to the program. When we are post-COVID, we serve the community. So again, if you have any kind of a nonprofit or some sort of a community event, we are always there to consider helping out in any way that we can. And for the general public, we do serve the general public. Our haircuts, the price I don't think has gone up, maybe since I've been there, and they're $7.50. But if you are a City College employee, you get 15% off. And we give the most amazing facials you've ever heard of because we are cutting edge. So that's what I want to put in, and just once again say thank you so much. Oh, and Melissa did comment. I love that. Jack, you can't afford a haircut there.
I appreciate that. We'll talk offline. Thank you so much, Michelle. Jamie, any final thoughts you want to share?
Just that we have our cosmetology and our esthetician orientation program for those that might be interested. Get the word out. Contact us because it's coming up in July, the middle to the end of July. I believe for aesthetics, it's the 23rd of July. Cosmetology is right around there too. So there's still time to get applications in, even if you're not sure that this is something for you. That's what our orientation's for. Come see what it's about. It's all online on Zoom. And Victoria and I, Michelle and Sarah, Liza, Brenda, Miss Laura, Miss G, we're all there for those orientations. So you'd be able to meet the entire staff and ask all your questions and figure out if this format's the right one for you. So we'd love to have everyone join us in July.
Thank you so much. Victoria, would you like to share any final thoughts?
Ooh. Okay. Thank you for letting us speak and giving us this opportunity to help voice. And I hope that people were able to take a lot away and really learn about our programs today.
Thank you so much. Jessica, any final thoughts to share with folks?
Absolutely. I just want to end by saying how fortunate I feel that I was able to be a part of this opportunity. And for anyone who has any kind of reservation, you know, call the school, talk to Wanda, talk to Michelle, talk to anyone there. I think you'll immediately get a sense of how feasible it is to accomplish something. You know, and for the foundation and all the powers that be, I hope that the message is that this program is such an asset to Santa Barbara City College. It truly, truly is, because, you know, not everybody is looking for a 4-year degree. Some of us need to get to work a little sooner than that. And and I feel like we're not at a loss. I feel like as individuals, we have a lot to offer. And I think that right now, you know, with so many people desperately needing haircuts and manicures and facials, that, you know, it's apparent that this is a great industry to be a part of.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, the real last word goes to Andrea Garcia right there. So final thoughts.
Well, thank you. No, I just wanted to add on to what Jessica was saying. The program itself is amazing, like you've heard from everybody here. But I think if you are kind of iffy about it and still kind of questioning it, definitely go to orientation. And you'll be able to sense the amount of support that you'll be getting from everybody. So even if you have some different situation from either me or Jessica, you'll definitely get the help.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much. You know, the leadership, obviously, the students, thank you. We know that this is a real leadership program, and it's recognized widely, and I really appreciate you sharing that with all of us today. And it's great to have much of the team on as well and watch that in the chat. Clearly, you all are quite a family, and that shows. So on behalf of the SBCC Foundation, I want to thank my colleagues. So behind the scenes here, we had Rachel Johnson, our Director of Grants, Raisa Smorrell, our Senior Director of Individual Philanthropy, and Jennifer LeMay, our Marketing Communications Director, who will make sure that this recording will be beautifully edited and up on our website within the next 48 hours or so, so you can all relive it as many times as you want and share it with friends. But truly, that's what we're here for. The SBCC Foundation is here to support this program and all of the others, and we're really just a manifestation of this community support for the college. And people are very much invested in all of your work. So thank you so much for being here. You can go to sbccfoundation.org in the next couple of days. You can see this and many other things. And we look forward to seeing you eventually in real life on one campus or another. So thank you all.